World. News Talk 1240.
Good afternoon. It's not really beginning to look a lot like Christmas, but fortunately it's starting to feel a bit like it, and that's about it. It feels like March in December for some dang reason, and I don't know why, which led me to think, hey, why not talk about the weather, which is one of those things that everyone seems to want to talk about for small talk. You ever notice that? Like, you talk to somebody and they always, if you don't know them, they'll say something about the weather. I'm sure Seinfeld has already had something to say about that, but it's every single time. You're at someone's parents' house and you say, well, the weather sure has been weird. And you can't really go beyond that because you don't know what the heck else to say. I wanted to share with you, though, a weather service that I've been using for a while now that I hadn't even thought of telling anyone else about. I don't know why, but I never really thought about it. It's actually based in Iceland, interestingly enough. It's called Poncho. And what you do is with Poncho, all you do is you sign up with your email account and tell it where you are, just in rough geographic. I think you put in your zip code if you're in the US, which of course we are, and it'll tell you what your weather is through email every day. And that sounds really obnoxious, but it's actually really handy, especially if you have a email managing app where you can set it so that certain emails will get push notifications, as in when you get an email from a certain person, this particular email will pop up. That can actually be really useful. I use it a lot anyway because I think it's really cool and handy to wake up every morning to a news forecast, or rather a weather forecast news forecast. This is what the news is going to be like in the next 10 years. No, but it's really interesting to me to see that in effect. It's just really cool to me to have this sort of pop up and tell me what the weather is going to be like. The weather's going to be like in sort of a fun way. For instance, this is the last one I got, and it says partly cloudy skies, breezy temperatures in the low 40s today. Let's go into warp drive and enjoy your day, Captain. And it has a little gif of Spock from Star Trek saying enjoy yourself, Captain. And it's really fun. Poncho is a really fun little app. It's not even really an app because it's not something that you install. If you have email already, it just works within your email service. So you don't have to worry about any extra things you have to do. Really, you just sign up and that's it. And if you don't want it anymore, you can unsubscribe. So there's not really anything extra that goes along with it. And email has changed a lot in the last maybe 20 years. Email has changed a lot from what it used to be. Email back in the day was text only, and that was it. You can only do text, and it was fine for the times. But now email's gotten to the point where it's almost like a little web page that you're sending people. You can have HTML coding and everything in an email, and you can actually make the emails look really nice. You can embed animated GIFs. There's all sorts of little things you can do with email nowadays that can really make your email shine. Especially if you're a small business, this can be really useful to you if you're sending out, say, regular newsletters to different people or different invites and that sort of thing. It can actually be really useful to you, especially, say, your business is doing Christmas email cards, which a lot of businesses do just to pick up contacts, to remind people that they're there. If you use a service like I've heard, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, I hear a lot about Tiny Letter and I hear about MailChimp and all sorts of different little services for small business people to get the word out over email in a way that's not really annoying or obnoxious. It just sort of works. And I've heard lots of good things about them. So those are some things you might want to look into if you are a small business person. MailChimp and Tiny Letter, I keep hearing nice things about. And no, I'm not even being paid to say that either, which is kind of a weird thing. I'm not being paid to talk about any apps right now. I say right now because that could be subject to change at some point, right? Like somebody could call me up and say, I'll give you $500 to talk about my weather app, but that's not happened yet, fortunately. And so I really don't have any restrictions on what I talk about when it comes to apps. I can talk about one app and then talk about the competition to that app and all sorts of other things. It's really actually kind of, it's kind of nice not to have any obligations that way, because I can talk about anything I want in terms of what apps I recommend, because I don't have any restrictions on that, which is really, really nice for me, because then I get to tell you which apps are the best ones, even though someone else might tell you a different one because they're being paid to say that different app. So it's really useful to me. Something that I keep using on and off is Flight Radar 24, actually, just because it's kind of fun. There's just something really fun about Flight Radar 24. What it does is, in case you're not familiar, What it does is it gives you information on flights which are flying overhead. Now, Flight Radar 24 is a little bit different from perhaps some other flight tracker apps in that it actually will use your camera. If you point your camera on your phone while you have the app open at a plane flying overhead, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but it can tell you what that flight is, where it's heading, the call angulates your position via GPS, and then it sees the plane that you're pointing at, and then it uses that information to track where that plane is. And there's only so many planes at a certain location at a certain time. You're not going to have planes overlapping usually, so that leads to a pretty easy identification. If the app knows where you are and it knows what flights are in that area, it becomes pretty easy to pick out which flight it is. So you can actually pick out a flight and then see it on your screen. You can even track flights and get regular updates on them. And again, that's with Flight Radar 24. It's a really fun little app that I like to use. Now, there's a paid version and there's a free version. I've not actually used the paid version yet. It doesn't really bug you too much about getting the paid version, which is really nice because I keep seeing apps where you don't buy it and it keeps telling you over and over, not me. Why don't you buy me? Because I'm an app that you should buy. And I don't really get that with Flight Radar 24 because there are two different versions. There's a paid one, there's a free one. And I'm sure with the extra functionality with the free one or with the paid one, it's probably worth it because I've heard from many different people that it is. I just don't really have the means to buy it right now. I can't justify that purchase for myself right now, especially around this time of year where we have the whole Christmas season creeping up on us. We're in the Christmas season now, but Christmas Day is next week. How weird is that? It does not feel like I can't get over how it doesn't feel like Christmas to me. It's way too warm. It's like summer, it's like spring because I don't know. It feels like March right now. It doesn't feel like December. It feels like March, which is of course 2 months away. So, or rather 3 months away. So it just doesn't feel that cold. And I haven't really seen any sort of reports yet of snow being forecasted anytime soon either, which is really kind of a shame. Because I remember one time, I'll share a bit of an anecdote with you because I think it's funny. One time, it snowed really badly here. Or maybe it was early this year when it happened. I don't recall precisely, but it snowed really badly. And the roads were blocked off. It was pretty bad. And this is not too long ago. And here I was on Hot News Talk Radio, the news director, giving people advice on how they should stock up and be prepared and all this stuff. And here I am. I was totally caught off guard by this whole snowstorm, and I was stuck here for like 2 days because I couldn't get out. My car did not have the power at all to get out of the studio, so I was stuck here for like 2 days because the snow was keeping me holed up. So I thought it was kind of funny. I was stuck here over the weekend too. I think I missed church and everything just because I was snowed in one time. So don't let that happen to you. Now I know, and now you know. Always be prepared for snow. I've got some supplies in my car now just to keep myself safe. I've got a road flare in there. I've got an ice pick just in case. And I've got a little shovel and entrenching tool just in case as well. Because you never know. You never know. And that's one little, physical tip. That's not really an app tip, but it's more of a physical tip that I've learned over my few years of existing. Is an entrenching tool, a military entrenchment tool. And what it is a glorified shovel, essentially. And it can act as both a pickaxe and just a pick, actually, more of a hoe than anything, and a shovel. And it's really short. It's about, I'd say, the length of my forearm. So maybe 2 feet, about a cubit long. And it's really, like, that thing will save your butt so many times. You've no idea. I've used it. I don't know how many times I've used the dang thing. It's so useful. So if you can get one, you can get it at like any Army surplus store. P5 Preparedness probably has them. I would be amazed if they didn't. You can pick one up, and those things are so useful, especially if you get stuck in the snow in the parking lot. You can dig yourself out, and then you can go along your merry way. So an entrenching tool is one of the more useful things you can stick in the trunk of your car, and you can just have that there. And there you go. You're good to go now that you have this entrenching tool. It's one of those extra little things that doesn't take up too much space. It's going to save your behind more times than you can count. And even if it doesn't, it's good to have. It's just one of those things that's just good to have on hand. Even though you might not need it, it's good to have anyway. Something I want to talk about a little bit too, because I've been alerted to this happening a few times is ransomware. Ransomware is one of those things. And what specifically it's going to look like, because you can't really know exactly with each different case. It's different every time. But let's do a little bit of an overview so that we can stay safe, right? Because I don't want you to run into problems where your computer is locked up. Okay, so a ransomware is it's essentially a virus. It locks up your computer so that you can't access any of your files. You're totally locked out of your computer, and usually it'll come up with a little screen that says, we've caught you doing this or that. Downloading child pornography is one that is usually common because that's the one that spooks everybody. I mean, it spooked me when I first saw it, because even though I hadn't, who would? But it's one of those things where you're like, what? On my computer? That's highly unlikely and also very surprising. So it's one of those things where you see, you're just like, what? So usually it'll accuse you of doing that. But other times you'll get a screen that says Windows has locked your computer because of a fatal error or whatever, and it'll give you a 1-800 number to call. Well, if you get a 1-800 number to call that pops up on your screen, most likely that's not legit. In fact, I would guarantee that's not legit. So if your phone locks, or rather your computer locks up and says you need to pay a fee to unlock your computer, don't do it. Take it to a computer repair store, have them look at it, because it's not legitimate. And even if you think it might be, go ahead and take it to a computer repair store, because it's guaranteed to not be legitimate. I don't know of any legitimate, real software developer or operating system developer like Windows or rather like Microsoft or like Apple that would do that to you. That's highly unlikely. That's way out of spec. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So you have to keep that in mind. If your computer suddenly asks you for money, chances are it's not real. I can guarantee you it's not real if your computer suddenly pops up and demands money from you. Because once you've got Windows or once you've got Mac OS X, either one, you've got it. You don't need to pay extra money to keep using it unless you want to upgrade. But you don't need to keep paying extra money to use it. One video I saw not too long ago was a video of a guy, and this was done intentionally, but it was a video of a guy who opened up a file that was called, I think it was just called like xxx.avi.exe. And that's the thing you got to look out for on Windows. If it has .exe at the end, you have to know that's a program. It's not a video, not an MP3, it's a program. So if you double click on it, it's going to ask you, do you want to run? And if you hit yes, it's going to run the program, and it's going to do who knows what. EXE stands for executable, by the way, which you're going to forget tomorrow like I always do, but that's what it stands for. EXE always means program. When you're running it on a Windows machine, it always means program. So if you see a file that looks like a video, it has a little icon that means it's a video, but it says .exe, you have to know it's not a video and it's not an MP3. I saw a video of a guy who opened one on purpose on a fresh machine, and it deleted everything on his computer, logged him out, and then it brought up a screen in Cyrillic, in Russian, I would assume, demanding essentially that he pay a bunch of money. I think it was like €5 to unlock his machine. And you could send it to this PayPal address. And you'd be surprised how many people fall for that. Lots of people actually fall for it. I don't know why, but a lot of people actually do. It's weird, but that's the case. This is Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240. We're here to keep you informed, to keep you safe. Here at Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240 and hotnewstalkradio.com as well. This is Binary here on Hot News Talk Radio. Coming up next after me, we've got Colin Cowherd. He's the Rush Limbaugh of sports. We got Clutch with Keon Rose from 1 to 2. More Colin Cowherd from 2 to 3. 3 to 5 is Sean Hannity. 5 to 6 is more Sean Hannity. Then we have Colin Cowherd, American Now, Ground Zero, and Coast to Coast AM with George Noory. All of that right here on Hot News Talk Radio. We're brought to you by Woodhouse Spas, which is currently doing a 12 Days of Christmas giveaway, which you have to go to the Facebook page to participate in. They're offering the following gift card promotions starting tomorrow. For every $100 gift card or higher, you receive a $15 bonus gift card, which you can give away as a gift. For every $200 gift card or higher, you get $25 as a bonus. And for $300 gift card or higher, you get a free luxurious throw, which is in stores only while supplies are lasting. So you have to jump on that. But that's what Woodhouse Spas is doing right now. And you got to jump on that because I imagine a lot of people are going to get that throw. So if you want to give the $300 gift card, then you're going to want that luxurious throw, which you're going to want to get fast before it runs out. So Woodhouse Spas is where you need to go to get that. And we're happy that Woodhouse Spas is a sponsor of us here on Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240. And we're always here, of course, at hotnewstalkradio.com. So the ransomware is usually called the money pack. Sometimes you'll see it called just the lock away. I've seen it called money locker was another one. Basically, they all do the same thing, though. They lock you out of your computer, and they demand money from you in one way or another. The 1-800 number ones are kind of interesting because usually when you call them, you'll actually get someone who sounds like just a regular American who you're going to talk to on the line. And that's kind of the weird thing about it is that there's someone out there somewhere who's in the U.S. most likely talking to you about, or even Canada, talking to you about this problem that you're having, who's totally spying or spamming you, or scamming you. It's really weird because it's just bizarre to think of somebody sitting in their bedroom or whatever, talking to you like they're a Microsoft engineer or with tech support, and it's just some guy trying to get money from you. That's just really weird to think about, but that's what we have to deal with in the 21st century because we have a lot of threats in the 21st century, not even just from terrorism or from armed robberies or whatever, because the chances of those happening to you are very low. And while you should be prepared, yeah, there are also things which are much more immediate that we have to be perhaps even more prepared for. Identity theft is a big one. Lots of people are going to have their identity stolen. There are different estimates about how many people are going to have their identity stolen in 2016. It's pretty high. You have to watch out for that. You have to keep yourself safe. So how can we do that? Well, lots of people get their phones stolen. Phones are like the thing to steal, actually. If you see somebody, say, with phones, what am I saying? If you see somebody with a smartphone and it's within arm's reach, you could easily take it, slip into your pocket, get up and walk away with nobody noticing. Have you ever done that before? Or have you ever thought about that before? How easy it would be to take somebody's phone? That's what other people are thinking too. But the difference is that you haven't done it and they're totally going to. There are people who steal phones for a living. You notice those kiosks? There's one at Hamilton Place Mall upstairs near the vending machines. It's right next to that like perfume makeup store that I really hate because it always makes me have a headache. It's right there, and you can just drop a phone in there. You pick the model that you stuck in there, and you can get money for it. And people do that for a living. People steal phones and resell them for a living. It's not hard. So all you have to do is open up the phone, set easy to steal phones. So make sure your phone is physically secure and software secure as well. When you have a smartphone, you're going to want to make sure that it has a PIN code on it or a password, even just a password of some sort. But the most secure one, I would say, is a PIN code. So when you get your phone, make sure you put a PIN code on it. And, the iPhones have this fingerprint scanner thing. Don't use it. It doesn't work. It works, but it doesn't work as well as you might think. Don't use the fingerprint scanner. It's not secure. You can get past it quite easily, actually. I read a bunch of articles in Wired about this not too long ago where you can get past the fingerprint scanners on people's iPhones with your elbow. So obviously it's not that secure if you can just get past it as easily as that. Yeah, kind of a problem. So keep that in mind when we're talking about phone security. There's no such thing as total security, but we can at least put a little bit of effort towards being more secure, right, in our phones. So keep that in mind. And it's super easy to set up a PIN code. If you're on an Android phone or if you're on a Apple phone, it's pretty much the same thing. All you have to do is go to your settings. I'll do it with you right now. Let me go to my settings. Where's it at? Where are you at? Settings. Scroll down. It's alphabetical and I can't read. So there it is. Settings. Okay, so I'll go to settings and it's going to be in security, which is right here. Security. Okay, and then it says screen lock on my phone. It might say something a little bit different for you. But I just tap that. And for me, it wants me to confirm my PIN. There we go. And you can set it to what you want it to be. So on Android, you have some options. You have swipe, you have pattern, you have PIN, and you have password. A password gives you a full keyboard where you type out your thing. But PIN is what I usually use because it's super fast. It's easy. I sound drunk right now. It's super fast. It's easy. It works. You just can't beat it with a PIN code. And the best way to do it, of course, is to make sure it's not your birthday. Lots of people like to do that. I don't know why, but lots of people like to set their birthday as their PIN code on their phone. That is not secure. I guarantee you take a millennial's phone and you take it home and it wants the PIN code. Type in 1995, 1994, 1996, any one of those. Chances are you'll get it. So it's super easy. It's stupidly easy, but that's what it is. And it is what it is. So make sure you're not one of those saps who gets their phone taken and has no security on it whatsoever. There are measures we can take. Make sure your phone is securely in your pocket or in your purse. Don't leave it or laying around. Don't set it on your dinner table when you're out. Don't do that. We're going to talk more about this here on Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240 and hotnewstalkradio.com.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
While politicians debate climate change and taking our guns, they leave America vulnerable to disaster. You need to act now to keep your family safe and prepared. Do you have an emergency plan? Do you have long-term storage food? Do you have the skills and mindset to survive a disaster? If not, what are you waiting for? Call P5 Preparedness right now, 423-602-2175. Do you honestly think the government is going to help you? If you do, you are wrong, dead wrong. Don't get caught unprepared. Let the experts at P5 Preparedness get you ready for any emergency or disaster situation. Today, we offer a wide range of classes for the beginner on how to prepare, as well as the expert prepper. We stock a wide range of supplies, including long-term storage food, water filtration, outdoor gear, tactical gear, and plate carriers. P5 Preparedness, East Brainerd Road between I-75 and Gun Barrel Road. You will see the Army Deuce and a Half truck, 423-602-2175, 1309 Panorama Drive, Chattanooga. P5preparedness.com.
Lay your burdens down at the Woodhouse. Leave all your worries at the door. Just take some time. We're transforming life.
Happy holidays
at the Woodhouse.
from the Woodhouse Day Spa. Holiday gift cards available at chattanooga.woodhousespas.com.
You have an event coming up for the holidays, or maybe it is your daughter's wedding, or maybe just a church or office party, then you need to select Choo Choo Barbecue. That's correct, Choo Choo Barbecue. Whether you like pork, chicken, or beef, oh yes, Choo Choo Barbecue with their savory rub flavor. Oh my goodness, it's making me hungry right now. You add in their delicious smoked aroma, and you have set the table for a perfect meal with Choo Choo Barbecue. That's right, Choo Choo Barbecue. Why don't you give them a call right now? 423-843-9554. That's 843-9554. Call 423-843-9554. Choo Choo Barbecue. You know where it's located, off of Hickson Pike, right there at the Valley Brook area. Don't kid yourself. Your stomach is already on the way.
Don't be a victim. Arm yourself today at Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range, offering the finest selection of personal firearms and ammo, especially the hard-to-find ammunition. You know the police can't protect you. They show up after the crime is committed. The ability to protect yourself, your family, and when called upon, your nation is enshrined in the United States Constitution. Shop the largest selection of shooting supplies on their online store. CarterShootingSupply.com. Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range. The largest and cheapest selection in Chattanooga. 6210 Highway 58, Harrison. Call 344-1099. That's 344-1099. Keep your family safe this Christmas by buying them a certificate for Carter Shooting Supply Tennessee Handgun Permit Class. And stop by today to consult one of their qualified experts. They'll fit you perfectly to the firearm that meets your needs. Call 344-1099. You'll always find the widest selection of new and used firearms at Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range. 6210 Highway 58, Harrison. Call 344-1099.
The Fed raising rates, China's economy in trouble. Don't let headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Patrick Neal. At Edward Jones, we provide the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Stop by my office next to the Target Shopping Center in Hickson or call me at 423-870-7894. That's Patrick Neal at 870-7894. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240.
Hey, be sure to check out our Twitter. This is Binary, of course. I'm Russell, your host here on Hot News Talk Radio. Russell Stroud is the name, and apps are my game. No, be sure to check out our Twitter, Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter. You can see all our cool stuff. And actually, I tweet a bit on both of our Twitters. I'll be honest with you. Mr. Judd tweets more than I do, and I should be tweeting more, and I am tweeting more. But Mr. Judd is very funny, and his tweets are much better than mine. But you should check out our Twitter anyway, even though his tweets are better than mine. Whatever. Check out our Twitter, Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter, where we're always tweeting all sorts of different things. If breaking news happens, you'll see it on our Twitter first, and then you can tune in to us on the radio or on the website or on the app. If you get the TuneIn Radio app, which is super easy, super cool, all you got to do is grab that TuneIn Radio app and then search for Hot News Talk Radio, and you can listen to us streaming live there. So what you do is, I'm going to do it with you here. Let me open up my smartphone. All right, so I've unlocked my smartphone with my PIN code, of course, because I don't use a fingerprint scanner, mostly because my phone doesn't have one, but I also wouldn't have one even if I could. All right, so I open up my phone. Let me go to my app store. Let's click on the Play Store. Is it click or tap? What do you do on a phone? Do you click or do you tap on a phone? I've never been really clear on that. You know, I've been an enthusiast for a while here, and I don't know actually what you do when you're tapping on your phone, because I've seen different websites say tap, and I've seen other ones say click. So am I clicking or am I tapping? I don't actually know. What am I doing when I'm messing around on my phone? What am I doing even? What is in my life? What am I doing with anything? But whatever. Anyway, so you go to go to the Google Play Store, and I'm going to go ahead and search for TuneIn, right? And you can do this on your iPhone too. It doesn't have to be the Google Play Store. It's just what I use. For some reason it's a little bit slow today. I guess there's lots of Christmas traffic going on. All you got to do is click on install, give it a sec. There she blows. Hit open. All right. So now I'm open. And then you get an ad, which blows your ears out. Yeah, TuneIn has built-in ads. They're usually not very long. But then once you've got the ad done, you can listen to us here at Hot News Talk Radio. Just know the ads that pop up are not from us, right? Those are stuff, those are ads that just come from TuneIn. That's how they pay for it. That's just how it is. We don't put ads on TuneIn aside from the ones that you would normally hear on the air, right? And I don't think we even get any money from the ads that play on TuneIn either. It's just, it pays for TuneIn, basically. But we've got ads that play normally on the air. You'll hear those on TuneIn, but you're not going to hear any weird, annoying pop-ups from us. You'll hear ones from national stuff, but not from us. So keep that in mind. And if I... and that's weird because that's exactly what I was doing just a few seconds ago. So if I go to TuneIn, I can hear myself doing what I was doing about 30 seconds ago because there's a bit of a delay. Really weird stuff. But anyway, be sure to check us out on TuneIn. It's just the TuneIn radio app. Just search for us on TuneIn. Hot News Talk Radio on TuneIn. You can listen to us streaming live. TuneIn Radio on your smartphone. You can do it on your tablet, and you can also do it on your computer. If you're at work, all you got to do is go to TuneIn and then search for Hot News Talk Radio on your web browser at work, and you can actually get us streaming live there. Very cool stuff. Hey, check us out, Hot News Talk Radio, and call us here at the studio, 423-800-8949. You can call us internationally because I don't think that there are international charges these days. Like from U.S. to Canada, I don't think there are any. I've not come across them anyway. So 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949. Is the number to call in here at Hot News Talk Radio. If you want to get in touch with us, you can even talk to us on the air here at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. And we're always here at hotnewstalkradio.com as well. And actually, that's the main way that I listen to us, believe it or not, is on the TuneIn radio app. I live in Georgia. I live in Catoosa County. You don't want to get too specific. And reception is great, actually, in Catoosa County. But my house is weird. For some reason, my house is just bizarre. It doesn't like to listen to radio. I don't know why. And it's not just AM either. It's FM is terrible in my house, too. I don't know why. but it's just, that's how it is. FM doesn't penetrate walls too well. AM usually does, but for some reason it doesn't in my house. It's not a steel house or anything. It's actually a pretty crappy one, but for some reason it just will not penetrate. I don't know why. I've got a huge, really nice antenna, but whatever. So I usually listen on the TuneIn radio app when I'm in my room soldering things and working on fun things. You can get me on the TuneIn radio app, and that's usually how I listen, is on TuneIn. If I'm at my house, I'll listen on the radio when I'm in my car. But generally speaking, I'm listening on the TuneIn radio app, actually. It's one of the better ways to listen to us. We're brought to you by Woodhouse Spas, though. Be sure to visit Woodhouse Spas, which actually has a 12 Days of Christmas giveaway going on right now, where you have to go to the Facebook page to participate in it. They're offering the following gift card promotions. For every $100 gift card or higher, you'll get a $15 bonus gift card. For every $200 gift card or higher you'll get a $25 gift card. And for every $300 gift card or higher, you'll get a free luxurious throw. A free luxurious throw. It's in stores only while supplies last, so be sure to snap that up, because you don't want to be caught buying a $300 gift card and they say, hey, sorry, by the way, we don't have the luxurious throws anymore. What does a luxurious throw entail anyway? I mean, I know what it is, but it sounds funny when you think about it. I mean, a throw is usually kind of like a blanket, sort of, but it just sounds odd. Is it a luxurious throw? Like, what, they throw you in a luxurious kind of way? Maybe they've got this really muscular sumo wrestler guy who will massage you in a very luxurious, although quite forceful way when he throws you around. Who knows? But that's what a luxurious, you can get a luxurious throw for $300 gift card there at Woodhouse Spas. So be sure to patronize them, because they've been kind enough to patronize us here at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. And we are always here, of course, at hotnewstalkradio.com. Hey, Google Play still has its Christmas music thing going on, by the way, so be sure to check that out too. No, I'm not being paid by Google to say that. I wish I was, because Google, I'm sure, pays a lot of money to have different sponsorships. But no, what you got to do is, hey, bada bing, what you got to do is you go to the Google Play Store. No, not the Google Play Store, pardon. You go to Google Music, which you can get on your iPhone too. Go to Play Music. I'll open up mine. It'll probably start playing Ecstasy of St. Teresa or something. It takes a second to open up. There we go. And you can actually get music for Star Wars and for Christmas. Right now, actually, it's got Star Wars, actually, music for playing on Google Play Music, which is pretty dang cool, actually. It's... a blue one to demarcate which side of the force they're on. But anyway, Christmas music. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, by the way, about Star Wars. I'm going to go see it tomorrow with a few friends, and I am so dang excited. You've no idea how long I've waited for a good Star Wars movie to come out in theaters for me to watch. The last time I remember seeing a Star Wars movie in theaters, 1999. Which is weird for me to say. The last time I did something was in the 90s. How weird is that, right? Like, 1999 was the last time I saw, as far as I remember, a Star Wars movie in theaters. So the 90s was the last time I did something. And that's kind of a weird thought. It makes me feel old, and I don't want to feel old. I'm too young to feel old. But anyway, you can go to Google Play Music, and it has sort of radio. I hesitate to call it radio, because it's really not. Calling it radio is kind of a insult to radio. But anyway, it's that. It's sort of internet streaming music. And what you do is you just tap on it. It has one here for Christmas. And it gives you playlists that you can choose from. So we've got the biggest Christmas hits, Christmas for kids, Christmas crooners and vocalists, which I'm sure has a lot of Perry Como and Frank Sinatra in it, Christmas rock, which I'm down with, Christmas instrumentals, hip Christmas. Well, I'm kind of hipping with it. What's in hip Christmas? So I tap on that playlist, and we get sub playlists of those playlists. So we get Merry Indie Christmas, okay, the coolest Christmas songs of all time, and a hip Christmas party. I've never had parties, so we'll do Merry Indie Christmas. Why not? So all we got to do is tap on that. It's oddly enough got music from the OC, Mix 3, which brings me back. I'll just hit play. And guess what? It starts playing Merry Indie Christmas Radio. And after an ad, I get to listen to Merry Christmas music, I guess. It uses the same ad system as, and actually we got Julian Casablancas, which is kind of cool. I like him. I don't like his personal views, but I like his music. He's really good. But anyway, The thing with Google Play Music, with the ads with Google Play Music, it uses the same ad system that YouTube does, because it's all Google. It uses the same ad system that YouTube does. So you don't have to sit through 30-second ads over and over and over again. Most of the time, there's a skip button, which is really dang nice, because I hate sitting through 30-second ads so I can't get to my content. And I don't mind it on radio, honestly, mostly because I do all the ads, or most of the ads on radio. So maybe I don't mind it that way because of that. I get to hear my handiwork. But no, also, like ads on radio are so much different from ads on the internet, because ads on radio, you're supporting the content provider when you hear the ads on radio, so that's kind of cool. Also, they play no matter what. Like, they're going to play at the same times no matter what. It's just that you're just tuning in. So I can understand that too, and I don't mind that. It's kind of like TV. But also, they happen at scheduled times. You can usually predict when they're going to happen. Like for us, for us on Hot News Talk Radio, it's always the top and the bottom of the hour. So you'll hear ads, for instance, in the middle of my show here on Hot News Talk Radio, and it fires and you hear some ads. And it's really cool stuff. And I really like it as well, because I think I edited like 2 out of the 3 ads that play, which is really cool for me too. Actually, 3 out of the 4 ads that are playing in between, I've actually done. So I think that's really neat too. But when it's going to be on radio, and it just works out better. It's just, it works out better. There's just something about it that is better on radio than it is on the internet. It's the surprise. That's what it is. It's the surprise. When I go to the internet and I watch a movie on YouTube, I watch a little video on YouTube, and I click on it, I expect to see what I just clicked on. But instead, I get a 30-second ad for like Allstate or Geico, when all I want to do is watch a 30-second video, right? The ad's longer than the video itself. I watch a 30-second ad for a 30-second video, and the video, all it is just a guy shooting fireworks in his neighborhood or something like that. I don't need an ad before that. And I get why people do it. Like, I understand they're making some extra dough off of it, and I've got no problem with that, really. I've got no problem with people making money off of ads on the internet. That's totally fine, totally cool. I'm down. I get it. That's awesome. But it just drives me nuts the way it just goes, boom, have you gotten Geico? And it's like, no, I'm not going to get freaking, go away. I'm not going to get your car insurance. I've already got car insurance. I don't need car insurance. Leave me alone. It just drives me nuts, and I hate ads that pop up. And so I don't watch TV anymore, too. I'm so sick of TV. And speaking of TV, how can we get away from TV? Because I know people who are possibly legitimately addicted to TV, and I don't know how they got that way, but they are. It's usually older people too. I'll just throw that out there. It's usually older people who grew up with TV who are super into TV now. And I'm not that way at all. I could take it or leave it. I could stop anytime when it comes to TV. Honestly, I don't watch that much TV. I watch the X-Files maybe once a night, and that's about it for me. I don't really do a whole lot of TV watching, to be quite honest. I just don't. It's not my thing. It's not my forte. TV ain't my thing. And so, especially modern, like, not really modern, but especially TV that's playing over the air right now, I'm just not into it. Like, I get it, but I don't. The Voice, American Idol, X Factor, all that stuff. Like, I get why it's popular. It's just not for me, because the people on it just annoy the crap out of me. I can't watch that, but I get why it's so popular. So how can we become cord cutters, right? Because if you're paying for cable, you're paying for a lot. Cable's actually kind of expensive. Now, the content providers, or rather not the content provider, but the ISPs generally will kind of mess you up in the sense that you'll get a really nice package where you're paying for cable and internet, and it's way cheaper to pay for cable and internet than it is to just pay for internet. So I know a lot of people who don't even have TVs who still pay for the cable package just so they can get the faster internet for a lower price, which is ridiculous to me that you have to pay extra for something you're not even using just so you can get a cheaper price on something which you are using. It makes no sense whatsoever to me. Just give me the internet. That's all I want. That's all I need. Because I don't watch cable. I have no reason to watch cable. If I want to watch HBO, I'll pay for HBO and watch it on the internet. I'm fine with subscription-based internet streaming services. I really am. I think that's the way of the future. And here's the problem. Let's sort of delve into this a little bit. Here's the problem with cord cutting. There are contracts in existence right now that actually kind of prevent you from getting everything that you would get on TV on the internet. the cable providers are very aware of the whole cord cutting. I don't know what the word would be for it. They're very aware of the whole cord cutting movement, I guess, the social movement of cord cutting, which again, to reiterate, cord cutting is when you get rid of cable and you don't watch TV over the air or on cable, and you simply watch everything streaming on the internet. You can actually get stuff over the air with a digital converter box. Like you can watch ABC, NBC, CBS, of course, which you should watch because we are sponsored by CBS, and Fox, and a few other channels too. Like you get Antenna TV, which is actually really cool. You'll get This TV, which is I think Channel 9's thing, and you'll get a few other stations. You get a lot of like Trinity Broadcasting Network is like all I get in my room because again, my house hates television and radio, but like I get all those channels, and those are really the only things I watch. Sometimes I'll put on a channel, I'm not even watching it, I'll just put it on just to have background noise. It's like a white noise machine for me, just have a TV show running in the background. I especially like Antenna TV and This TV though, because it actually plays older stuff that I think is really cool. Like one time, I think it was Halloween, they had like a Godzilla marathon, like the old Toho Godzilla movies, and that was really awesome, and I like that a lot. But that's what cord cutting is. You don't have a cable bill, you don't have a cable subscription, you just have internet and over-the-air TV, and that's all you've got. That's it. And it saves you money potentially. That's the key word, potentially, because you do have to sign up for a few other services in order to successfully cord cut. For instance, if you watch HBO and you already had an HBO's thing with your cable subscription and you get rid of your cable subscription, how are you going to watch HBO? Well, you can get HBO Now, which is a streaming service from HBO, which you pay, I think it's like $15 a month and you watch HBO. It's about the same price you pay for your cable provider to have it extra. So it's not that bad for HBO. So not terrible, right? Not bad at all. And you can get that, and it's nice, and it's fancy, and it's cool. And you get HBO streaming to your computer anywhere you want. It's on your phone. It's on your tablet. It's a little bit iffy on my phone for some reason, but it does work, and it's really cool. And I'm not being paid to say that by HBO. So those are some of the things you can do there. But also Netflix, which like everyone has Netflix already. So if you've got Netflix, you're pretty much set for cord cutting already, especially if all you watch is Netflix and you hardly ever watch cable TV. Maybe you watch cable for the Olympics or the X Games like me. And actually, most of those are available right now on the internet anyway. Like you can watch the Olympics streaming live most of the time. Now, the big thing, I know this is the big kicker for most people, is sports. And that's where things start to get very annoying. Sports. Here's the thing, and this is where the contracts come in. The content providers very often have deals with these different cable companies, in fact, own stake in cable companies and also own stake in, or stock in, however you want to put it, different programs which are running. Key point, Comcast owns NBC. Yeah, NBC Universal is a Comcast company. So Comcast owns that. So you're always going to get NBC and Universal on Comcast, but Comcast owns that. So Comcast has a stake in NBC remaining on cable, right? So yeah, you've got that to contend with, okay? So then you've got companies like ESPN, and that's where things start to get kind of weird. Disney owns ESPN. Disney owns ABC as well. So Disney also, of course, owns Disney Channel. Disney owns the Marvel properties. Anything that comes up with Marvel on Netflix is sponsored by Disney. Disney owns Marvel. Disney owns Star Wars. Disney owns ABC. Disney owns ESPN. And you can look up a map of everything that Disney owns. It's huge. But Disney has a investment in ESPN remaining a cable channel, a cable station. And ESPN has contracts with all sorts of different sports organizations up to the year like 2030. You know, like their contracts going out to 2025 was one Keon told me about, which is bizarre to me to think that a contract for TV runs out when I'm 30 years old. How weird is that in the 21st century, no less, that something's going to run out in this century's 20s? Like we're coming up on the 20s, and that's bizarre to think about. Like what in the world? So that does make cord cutting kind of hard. So keep that in mind. You gotta keep that in mind. But that's just what it is. And yeah, I don't know. It's really kind of annoying, but that's the way cable TV is nowadays. It's a mess. It's a jumbled up mess. It's a it's contrived, really. Like, there are so many reasons that why we should be cable. It's just there's so much money in cable TV nowadays that it's hard to, which is weird to think of. Back in the day, you could have gotten, a cable subscription was seen as a novelty. Back in the day, back in the 80s and the 70s, a cable subscription was weird. My dad was telling me not too long ago about how back in Louisiana, where he lives, it was really weird when the first guy in his neighborhood got HBO, back when it was called Home Box Office. It was really weird because they're like, man, you're watching TV, but it's not TV because it's coming out over our cable and it looks good and there's no antenna and it's just weird. It's an archaic, old school technology, cable is. And satellite kind of is too. Like, most of the satellites went up in the air in the 90s. So the technology is kind of outdated. But I don't know. Cable TV and satellite TV and just television in general is a jumbled up mess. And I'm so glad that radio is not that jumbled up mess, at least when it comes to knowing who owns what. Because you have like 3 companies that own most of everything. And it's just super easy. It's super easy to figure out. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I'm in radio and not television. Mostly because I don't have the looks for TV. That's one thing, but also because TV is too stress-inducing for me. Just way too stress-inducing for me. That's too much. Simply too much for me. But anyway, this is Binary here on Hot News Talk Radio. I'm Russell Stroud, the host here on Hot News Talk Radio. I'm very happy to be back. I was out of commission for a little bit because I was totally sick. I was way sick. I was bedridden for like 3 days there. It was bad. I don't know what I got. I blame church. It was terrible, but I'm back in commission now. I'm back in the saddle, and I'm really happy to be back just in time for the weekend. But this is Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, and hotnewstalkradio.com. Don't forget, you can get us on the TuneIn radio app for your smartphone. All you got to do is get TuneIn, and then search for Hot News Talk Radio, and you can listen to us streaming live on the TuneIn radio app for your smartphone, and you can actually listen to us live pretty much anywhere as long as you have a data connection. And that's the fun part about it, is when you've got a data connection on TuneIn, with TuneIn, you can listen to us anywhere, even if you're traveling. And that's something that I did not too long ago. I took a road trip up to Maryville, which is a ways away. And the AM signal stayed pretty strong for a good way, past Cleveland even. And I'm really proud about that. But the AM signal stayed really strong for a bit of a ways. But, it's not infallible, and it went out after a while. So I got on my phone and I listened to our station with my friend on TuneIn while we were driving up to Maryville in Tennessee. And that was such a cool experience, especially because my friend was actually pretty impressed with our radio station. I was like, yeah, that's our radio station. I work there, and that's my ad that I edited, and that's my ad that I voiced. That's me on the air, lots of cool stuff. And it's just really fun. It's a fun experience. I like being here. So this is Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. And you can also get us on Twitter. Go to Twitter and search for Hot News Talk Radio. You can see all of our tweets. We tweet about the news. We tweet about current events. We tweet about sporting events, which so you can get all those different tweets on Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter. So be sure to check us out, Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter. We're also on the TuneIn radio app. You can get us on TuneIn. And you can also get us on our website. Just go to Hot News Talk Radio on the net. Just search for Hot News Talk Radio on Google even. You can see our website and our TuneIn and our Facebook and our Twitter. All stacked up right there on Google for you. Be sure, by the way, to like us on Facebook. Most of the same stuff that goes on Twitter goes on Facebook, but sometimes we'll have some extra stuff on Facebook that doesn't make it to Twitter just because it's too long. So be sure to get our Facebook, and you can also get us on YouTube. There's so many different ways to listen to us. YouTube is one of my favorites. I do that mostly when I'm at my house at my computer. So you can go to YouTube and search for Hot News Talk Radio, and you can actually see us here streaming live. You can see us with your own eyes right here at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, and we are always here, hotnewstalkradio.com.